All right, Austin, I know it was very important for you to come off of that difficult trip, down so many bodies, to find a way to get a victory. What was the biggest reason today?
We fought. We played a really good first half. I think we were up 17 and a half. Not so good third quarter. And then you just got to, when things kind of get a little, out of rhythm out there, you kind of just got to figure out how to get away with a win. And we needed that one going 0-4 on the trip. So it's good to get a win. Hopefully we can get back on the right side of, playing good basketball. So first half was really good. Could have been better second half, but, it's just the game.
I know you missed Jackson Hayes. What was it like having him back as that lob threat and all the other things that he does?
Yeah, I mean, me and Jackson are usually not very nice to each other. Joke around all the time, tell him I don't like him. But, God, it was good to get him back. Just his energy, his effort, his presence in the pocket, like you said, lob threat. It gives Luka, basically, when he has a really good lob threat, it's almost impossible to guard him because he looks off the low man so well. So, Jax, this is the first and only time. It's the first and only time I'll say something positive about you.
I won't tell him the positive stuff that you said, and especially since he came and said something nice there, you're almost winning on top of that, right? So, that's a good job there.
We'll get back to telling each other we hate each other in a second. So, it's good to see him back.
Last one for you. You spent so much time, of course, on the court with LeBron and got to know how to play with him. How are you getting to know Luka, and what kind of rhythm are you two coming into?
That on-court chemistry is a real thing. Anytime that you can, log more minutes together, you're going to figure out, how to play with one another. He got me an unbelievable look there the last, minute, 45 seconds. Yeah. I was pissed I missed that one. So, when you play with him, you're going to get good looks. He draws so much attention. So, shout out to him. He played a hell of a game tonight.
All right, go get some ice packs.
Appreciate you. I need them.
A lot of guys have. How do you balance that mental and physical awareness and then still come out and give an effort like you did today?
We just wanted to, we home. So we, wanted to flush that road trip and come out here and get a win. We came out first quarter, gave them the first punch, and we just, finished the game the same way.
When you first got here, we talked about how you combined with Gabe and Vanderbilt. There's a certain mindset and attitude. How do you think Jordan Goodwin fits into that and the way that he played today?
Man, he was everywhere, man. I'm happy we got that win for him. I know he was there with them guys, so he really wanted this win. But he just been playing well. Shooting the ball, being active on the offensive glass, being a great communicator on the court. So we just got to continue to bring energy. Luka, AR. And when Brian get back, they're going to have the ball in their hand most of the time. And we just got to be able to, give energy, be the energy givers, make open shots and play defense.
Dorian, speaking of Jordan, earlier JJ said that, you can't judge a player by solely off the box score. He mentioned both Jordan and you with setting the tone defensively today. Just kind of, now that, we have a big enough sample size, how have you kind of seen the defense just kind of develop over these past few months?
Well, when you play with a guy like, Luka, who draws so much attention, one day I might get the threes. One day it might be Gabe who get the wide open threes. And, today, they ain't really helped much on, the corner threes. So Chat's got a million lobs and drop-off passes. So you got to pick your poise when you're playing with Luka. So he told me fourth quarter they were trapping. He told me He told me to make 3, but I shot 4. So he was happy with that. I made 2.
Hey Dorian, you talked about Jackson getting the lobs. How much does that lob threat open up shots for you and the rest of the team and keep the team organized, as JJ says?
Like I just said, when he getting easy points, teams get frustrated. They try to figure out how to stop it, and it attracts the low man. And now we're getting corner threes or top of the break threes, swing threes, but it's still the ball moving, and Luka can always make the right play, and we just got to read and play out of closeouts.
Hey Dorian, you've been playing with Luka for a long time, and we were just talking to him about kind of having an alter ego on the floor and just how much he's in his element. I guess. When did you kind of first notice that he's just a completely different guy during games?
Man, probably the first time we played one-on-one. I think right after summer league. He didn't play summer league, and as soon as we got to Dallas, me, him, and Coach Mosley went to the gym and played with full court one-on-one. And at first, you could barely understand what he was saying until you got on the court. You understand everything he was saying. He's just a competitor, and that's what I love about it.
Dorian, thinking back to when you were traded from Brooklyn here, the first conversations you had with either JJ or the front office, what did they tell you about what they wanted you to bring to this team defensively, and how have you kind of taken that, or how have you been part of the defensive turnaround for this team?
Coach JJ made it simple. He told me to be a communicator, be a leader, use my voice, shoot the ball when I'm open. So that's pretty simple. And I try to come in and be who I am, and try not to be who I ain't. And that's come in here, give energy and play hard.
And you held the Suns as a team today to something like 20% in the first quarter, 6 for 22 shooting. How impressive is that? Like how good of a defense do you think you guys are when it's clicking like that?
Man, we can, like I said, we could be any team in the league when we keep them close to 100 points. We're going to get, good looks, playing with great guys, AR, Luka, especially when Brian come back. So all we got to do is, play defense, keep teams under 100 points and take care of the ball. And I feel like we give ourselves a great chance to win.
Though you know Luka as well as anyone in that locker room. It's been about 6 weeks now. Like, how do you feel like he has adjusted and acclimated to being a Laker, and how have you seen his relationship with the crowd at these home games kind of develop?
I mean, y'all see what he doing. I mean, he finally found his rhythm. We both laughing about it. We ain't shooting the ball as well as we want, but it's getting going. Y'all see him barking a little bit, to the crowd and to the other team. That's why I like playing with him, man. It gets me going.
A tough schedule coming up, and actually it's been like this for almost a week or now.
Okay.
And how do you guys prepare yourself, like mentally and physically, like for those kind of tough matchups? We knew that was coming. Coach said he don't want to, hear nobody else talking about it or complaining about it no more. So right now I'm in the thick of things, and we just gotta figure it out, man. Each team go through injuries and bumps and bruises, but that's why we got a locker room full of guys. Next man up, and we just gotta keep figuring it out. Keep playing defense and keep playing with confidence. Let's go.
Defensive energy that you guys had, especially in the first quarter. What do you think led to that? How important was it for you guys to kind of recapture some of that?
It was good. How many points they scored? 97? Was it? Something like that. Anytime you can keep a team like that with so many, offensive weapons to, 97 points, you did a good job with schemes and coverages, and thank you. Just paying attention to the, game plan, and then at the end of the day, competing really hard.
When you're out there with guys like Doe and Jordan, just energy seems like it's going to be there just because of the way they play. But especially their defensive energy early, what did you sense from them?
Yeah, they were great. Anytime they're out there and they're playing the way that they play, you look crazy. You look crazy if you're not competing the way that they're competing. So that's what we need. And I thought that they were really big tonight. I don't know if they shot it great from the field, but they had a huge impact on the game. So they're some of our best defenders, and it's good to see them compete like that.
All of the factors were obvious going into this game for you guys. The losing streak, still missing someone like LeBron, the early start after the long travel. Did you have any indication coming into it when you got to the arena today, though, that you guys were ready to kind of respond in a strong manner?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do in this league. Our schedule, starting at that road trip, it's pretty crazy for the rest of this month. So you just got to, take it one day at a time, and every day that you have the opportunity to go compete, you go compete and try to win games.
Austin, what prompted the flex at the bench? Because I feel like that's not usually one of your typical celebrations.
I don't know. Maybe I felt like I lifted a couple weights before the game, looked kind of big. No, I mean, honestly, I thought I missed the layup, to be honest. I think it got pretty lucky with it going in. I think it hit the right between the backboard and the box and rolled in. So I think I was just more happy that I didn't miss the layup than anything.
Luka, JJ mentioned that he was impressed with the team's kind of energy coming off a long trip, a back-to-back, an emotional loss. Those things can be tricky in the NBA. Where did you think that came from the player's standpoint to start the game tonight or today?
We knew we had to do better. We knew we have to be more physical, first of all. And I think our defense was amazing today from the start to finish.
We know some of the stats about you going against Phoenix, and only Jordan averages more points. Do you still think back to, like, the draft, or are you well past that and you just like playing against any team?
No, I don't. That's a long time ago, 7 years ago. So I'm not thinking about that no more. I just get ready for every game, trying to play good and win.
Luka, how much did you guys miss Jackson and you in particular, but with your connection with him, with the lobs and in the pick and roll? How good was it, to have him back?
Well, you can see it. You can see the difference. For me, it helps me a lot, but he helps the whole team. Just getting block shots, take rebounds, roll. He can do a lot of things, and we miss him for sure.
Look, we know how rough that trip was in terms of your guys' record, and some guys fly back home to get treatment. And in Denver, you and a couple guys weren't able to give it a go. What did you see from the group that did play against the Nuggets, and did that give you any sort of insight as to the type of group that you're involved with?
Yeah, I mean, they gave us, how would I say, just to see what we have to do next game. Play like them, me, Gabe, and Doe were out, but we knew what we had to do, and we need to be more physical, so they showed us the way from that game.
Hey, Luka, you hear entertainers talk a lot about how they have like an alter ego on stage and off stage. It feels like from the small amount of time we've gotten to know you a little bit, you're pretty quiet and like low key when you're not on the court. Would you say you have like an alter ego on the court, and do you remember when that originated, or has that always been the case?
Oh yeah, I would say I'm quiet off the court. Totally different. Basketball is what I do, so gets me hyped, gets me happy. So there's an obvious change in my off court and on the court, but I don't know when it started, honestly.
Luka, še eno vprašanje v slovenščini. Kako pomembno je bilo danes prekiniti ta manjši negativen niz porazov?
Zelo pomembno. Smo oko 4 zapore smo izgubili, bili smo na drugem mestu, tako da zelo pomembno je sploh po taki ekipi, ki je lahko zmer neugodna, tako da je bilo zelo pomembno tudi danes, da smo zmagali.
Še eno vprašanje, kako si se ujel z JJ-jem kot trenerjem? Vem, da sta bila soigralca prej. Kako je delo za tajega trenerja, ki je zelo into the game, zelo vokalen in tako naprej?
Super. Nimam kje reči. Zmer veliko se pogovarjava, tudi ni sam tekma, tako da zaenkrat je super z njim.
Luka, ¿qué aprendizaje les dejó el viaje como grupo y cómo se sintió estar de regreso en casa y regresar al triunfo?
Sí, bastante viaje, ha sido muy duro. No hemos ganado ningún partido, así que ha sido un viaje muy malo. Pero regresar a casa ha sido bonito. Sobre todo todos han podido ver a su familia, estar en casa un poco. Eso nos ha dado, creo que un poco más para ganar este partido.
Luka, ¿cómo te has sentido ante la ausencia de LeBron siendo el líder de los Lakers en estos partidos, especialmente hoy con la victoria?
¿Perdón?
Ante la ausencia de LeBron, ¿cómo te has sentido siendo el líder de los Lakers en estos partidos?
Bien. Creo que bien. Creo que era un buen equipo. No solo hay un líder, hay muchos diferentes aspectos. Pero bien, intentamos ganar cada partido. Obviamente el viaje no ha sido bueno, pero estamos volviendo a nuestro nivel.
Hey, Luka. You've had more than 30 points here, 5 of 6. How's your rhythm? How are you feeling physically in terms of kind of that long layup? And are you starting to feel kind of closer to your normal sort of level of standard, level of play?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm getting there. But like I always say, every day I'm feeling better. Physically, I got my knee a little hyperextended and my ankle again, but I'm good.
Luka, el equipo está jugando mejor desde que tú llegaste, con más alegría. Se entienden mucho contigo. ¿Lo sientes así? Sobre todo Hayes está feliz jugando contigo, encontrando la canasta en el lugar apropiado.
Sí, creo que antes de que yo llegara también han jugado muy bien, han jugado todos juntos. Cuando yo llegué solo quería meterme en eso y jugar como ellos. Y creo que estamos haciendo cosas muy bien y tenemos que seguir así. Thank you.
JJ, how did you think you, as a team, kind of established control early and sustained it throughout the game?
I just think it is very abnormal for a team to come back from an East Coast trip and that next game, a day after the trip, come out with more energy than the other team and play harder than the other team. On top of that, we had a back-to-back, and we lost a crushing game on Friday night. Our locker room, that was dispiriting to lose that game. It was disheartening. And for our guys to come back with an early start and be the harder playing team from the beginning, that to me says everything about our group. On top of that, this was such a different game than anything we played recently, and it was particularly like polar opposites of the Denver game. In terms of game plan, in terms of what we were trying to get offensively, it was just two very different games, and they were able to execute in Denver. They were able to execute tonight. Helped that Luka, Doe, Gabe, Jackson was awesome having those guys back, but again, just the transition from one thing to the next, coming off 4 losses, our group was phenomenal.
Was there a player or two that you thought symbolized that earlier, or was it really more of a group thing?
No, I'll say this. Never judge a player based solely on his box score. Jordan Goodwin was incredible tonight, and he had 2 points and 4 fouls. He set the tone for us. And they're an incredibly difficult team to guard. Our guys executed what we wanted to do. They took the shots we were willing to live with, and him and Doe, everybody had turns because we read it a lot today, but him and Doe set the tone on Book and KD. And, those guys make tough shots, and we had to try something to make it hard for them, and those 2 guys set the tone.
You laid out all the elements for us going into this one. And with that as the kind of setting the table, you held the Suns to 6 for 22 in the first quarter. What about your defense was working at such a high level to hold them to 20%?
Yeah, I mean, it started with our physicality and just making catches tough, and then we were shifting off the right guys. I would have to ask Wiv, but our contest rate in that first quarter, because they're really good, and they were able to get us in the blender a couple times, and they were able to get open looks. Our contest rate was really high. There was one, right in front of me. I was at the scores table with Royce O'Neal that I just like that he's not making that shot. And he's on our laser board. He's a phenomenal shooter, but the contest was so good. And I think that was huge. So we had the physicality, so we were making it tough for them to generate the shots, and then when they generated the shots, we had great contests.
JJ, I think a lot of times when people judge players, they tend to focus on the things that they don't do. But I'm curious, how have you guys optimized the way Jackson is able to obviously be a vertical threat on offense, but the way he's able to also kind of fly around on defense and get involved in your switches and be part of kind of the havoc that you guys are creating there?
Look, I think I said this during the win streak at some point. I think where his growth has been this year is just his cognitive load to go from one thing to the next, the mental bandwidth to do a number of different things on a possession, to be able to oscillate between coverages and reading. When they went to the fire late, or they had gone to it a bunch, but he hadn't been on the floor, and then when they went to the fire late, He got to the foul line, made himself available. Doe gets the wide open corner three that kind of gives us the cushion to win the game. It's just like little stuff like that where he's, the stats are going up, but it's being able to make one play after another and really think the game that I think his biggest area of growth is. And then, playing with Luka has been awesome for him.
Kind of a two-parter. One, with Jordan, what made you decide to go with him in the starting lineup? And then two, whether it's him, Doe, Vando, those kind of players, Gabe, like, how do they change the complexion of your team around the LeBron, Austin, Luka trio?
Yeah. The decision, I talked to Bo, had the scout. I brought it up with him last night after my day at Disneyland with the kids, and they had gone to bed. I felt like similar to the decision with Cam to go to the starting lineup and bring D'Lo off the bench or to insert Max Christie in the starting lineup. It really is about just finding balance for the group and being able to bring another playmaker, another shot maker off the bench in Gabe and really return to the role that he's had all season when we've been healthy. I thought that would be good. And then, we he was already revved up, but we revved up Goody a little bit.
JJ, to follow up on Jackson, how important is his constant screening and rescreening, and then also the ability to make out of the short roll and just make really quick decisions and reads?
Yeah, I think that's another area of growth is the playmaking in the short roll. Incredibly important when teams are blitzing us, and obviously, you've got to make choices with Luka, and a lot of teams mix it up throughout the game. And I think his ability to sort of read that when they are blitzing, when they're not blitzing, when he can roll all the way to the basket with their reading, when he's rolling through the red and trying to create switch confusion. We're all communicating on that. All 5 guys on the court, the coaches, and Jackson's part of that, and it's been huge. And then you saw it tonight. I think just the vertical spacing that he provides, and it's not even just on like a pick and roll lob, but it's on drives where that low man now has to make some tough choices. And he was early, getting great looks at the rim through that.
Hey, Coach, you spoke about having an organization to the offense. How much does having that lob threat help, Luka, Austin, and the team stay organized, in their offense?
Yeah, I think the fire in an ISO or the blitz in a pick and roll, you're creating a 4-on-3, and Luka has done that really well. If you don't have a threat at the rim, then it's really just 3-on-3, and teams are able to scram back and get back matched up. So that's just vital. And obviously, anytime you get to the blender, now you're redriving. Having someone again that has the threat of catching a lob or getting a tip in or getting a drop-off pass for a dunk, that creates, we call it marginal indecision on against offensive players that we're trying to create with our defense. That creates marginal indecision for the defender as well.